Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Girls Who Like Hoops podcast. I'm Tori. Welcome to this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I first of all want to apologize for this episode being late. I was really tired yesterday when I was going to record it. It was going to be late anyways, to be honest. It was going to be late anyways, but it wasn't going to be this late. I was going to record it on Friday, but I was really tired and I knew this episode was going to be a little bit longer and I didn't want to just give you guys like just any old thing. I wanted to be like a quality over quantity kind of thing instead of a quantity over quality. And I knew that I could give better energy if I had just gone to sleep and then just woken up and tried to record it. So here I am, and I hope you guys are having a good week so far. I really appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you guys had a good Juneteenth because I don't recall what I did that day, but I don't have a job, so I didn't really have anything to need a break from. Anyways, we're going to get right into it. I do have some NBA news and stuff that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, so if you want to hear that, you can skip to that maybe, or maybe you could stay, whatever you want to do, girl, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to do, but like and subscribe, and follow me on whenever you're listening to this. I want to stay up to date on new episodes. Like I said, we're going to keep it cute, we're going to keep it quick. Friday, June 14th, not yesterday's Friday, but the June 14th one, we had two games, Sky versus Mystics and the Sparks versus Lynx. For the Sky versus Mystics, I got the commentators, and, I'm going to start giving them a rating too, because some of the commentators have really just been, they need to be held accountable, some of them, not all of them, but some of them definitely need to be held accountable. So for the Sky versus Mystics game, we had Megan McPeak and Christie Winter-Scott. I thought that they did a really good job. I felt like they were unbiased, and I felt like they gave us the facts, the stuff that we needed. They gave us a commentary, and they kept it cute, and they pretty much kept their opinions out of it, and that's all I really need from a commentator, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, the Sky, they fought back really hard. The first quarter, they only scored 10 points. Here's the thing. 10 points, I was kind of confused. I was like, what's going on? We're slacking a bit, aren't we? But you know what? The bench came in and they gave you good lift. They gave you 38 points to Washington's 13. Angel Reese is leading the rookies in double-doubles. I think later on this week, she ends up setting the record. Camila Cardozo was very efficient. She shot 80% that night. I think Marina Mabrey had to do more offensively. She gave you 5 points. I think with Marina, really with this team in general is complicated because they are rebuilding, but at the same time, their coach, and as I think any good coach would still expect for you to give everything your all and to try to win the games regardless of what the team is going through, like, in its entirety. Like, yeah, it's a rebuild and we're trying to figure out how the pieces work together. But at the same time, you have to go out there and you have to play hard and do what you have to do. And I think Angel Reese and Camila Cardozo are doing a really great job of that. I think Kennedy Carter's coming off the bench and doing really well. She gave you 16 points and 6 rebounds that game. But at the end of the day, like, they do still need some shooting. Kennedy Carter, she's like, to me, she can get her shot like any way that she needs to. She's quick off the first step, which is always going to be, she's just really fast. And she plays great defense. And at the end of the day, like, you always know that she's going to go out there and do what she does and give you good energy. But at the end, but also, you still need other people to play their role. And Marina Mabrey, like, yeah, she's been struggling a little bit shooting lately. I think she's been doing a little bit better since the Fever game. But, you just need more than 5 points. And that's not really going to help the team win anything. But I do think that eventually she's going to get it and the pieces are going to fit together the way that they need to and everything's going to be fine. I did see a TikTok earlier this week of someone talking about how the Sky guards just need to like play better and do better and everything. And I somewhat agreed. I did. I don't really love to be like super duper critical of players because it does come down to, at the end of the day, I can't go out there and do what they do. And I'm never going to take that away from them. And at the same time, there are moments when it's kind of like, hey, we need a little bit more from you. I don't think necessarily that I, as a fan, need to be the person to say that. So I try my best not to. But yeah, I think they do need more from their guards a little bit. And yeah, that's really, because even in the Fever game, which we're going to get to later, I felt like they just needed like something else. Like, yeah, if Reese is in there, Cardozo is in there, like, and Carter comes in and gives you some good points, or she started that game, it's just like you just need more a little bit, and then it doesn't really help that like when guards do come out there that sometimes they're not able to get shots, they're not able to really like get into the paint and make the other team pay by getting fouls and stuff like that. So just something to work on in general, I think, for this guy. Also, I think I'm gonna go ahead and address it now. Earlier on in the episode, I've seen some clips of Teresa Witherspoon, at some press conferences, and I saw the clip where she was pretty upset after they lost a game. And I will say this: I think that to ask players and coaches, I know that it's just a part of the job, it's a part of this, but to ask coaches and players to come out there and talk to the media after they've lost a game, I think that's tough. Like she was very clearly upset with what she saw during the game and everything, and with the level of play. And it is probably really complicated, the same way that it's probably complicated like to be around other people and have like be upset with somebody about something, and then if you had to go and talk to people about why you were upset, like right off you being upset, like it doesn't really like make that easier. Like that's not an easy thing to do, to put your emotions to the side and answer people's questions. I think that the way that these players and coaches are able to do that, some of them or most of them are able to do that, I think it's really great. But at the end of the day, like these are players that really do care about this. Like this is their job, it's what they get paid to do. They want to win. They're competitors. They go out there to compete. They go out there to win. And when you don't get that win and then have somebody ask you a stupid question like, oh, you shot, let's say, 2 of 15 today. What do you think you can do better next game to help your team? Like, you obviously know that I need to shoot better. Like, what are we doing here, really? What are we really doing here? And I think that can be really frustrating, is for a lot of the times when I watch a lot of these post-game presses at the game, that the questions aren't very interesting either. Like the questions they're very like questions that you could get the answer to. You could surmise what the answer is going to be, and they don't. And that's probably very annoying once you just came off a loss. But anywho, they fought back hard in my mind, and I think that the coach wants to see more from them. She's tired of losing, but at the same time, I think you do have to take lessons from those losses sometimes, and just hope that, I think that she has a team that cares. And I think that's more important in my mind, to have a team that cares about these losses and takes them personally, than having a team that doesn't really care about them, or is kind of just looking depleted and like they don't want to buy into the idea of it. So, which we're going to talk about another team that's kind of like that at this time. But anyways, we'll get to that later. The Mystics got the win, which is a really strong start for them. Congrats to the Brunch Bunch. Aaliyah Edwards gave you 10 points and 6 rebounds in the first quarter, which is really great. I think for Aaliyah Edwards, you just need her to get going a little bit earlier when it comes to offense, just because she's always going to go out there and give you like rebounds, and I think she plays really well in the paint. However, sometimes offensively she struggles a little bit more, but I think when she goes out there and she's aggressive, it goes really well. And even just seeing the matchup with Edwards and Reese was really fun. And I know the commentators are kind of talking about how Reese had said she's never played against her in college. And so, matching up with her now is exciting and new and different. So I'm really glad they got to do that. Ariel Atkins has been carrying this Mystics team without Brittany Sykes. She's been doing a really great job. 29 points that game. I think after that game against the Fever where she didn't shoot very well, I can really see like that fire in her like kind of igniting. So that's been really fun to watch. Aaliyah Edwards, by the end of the game, she gave you 16 points and 9 rebounds. And I think that's a healthy win for the Mystics. And I'm happy they're getting some wins under their belt. They really deserve it. They were really struggling at the beginning. And, they may not be doing like excellent or great or anything, but they're out there trying. And that's one thing that you can't say about either one of those teams, that they're not out there giving like 100% of their effort. So next game we have is Sparks versus Lynx, and the Lynx won that one, and rightfully so. I love me some Lynx. This game was actually really good. I didn't get the commentators down for this one because I forgot. But the Sparks had it. They were winning until they weren't, okay? The Sparks were playing some really great basketball, I think, just in the end. When the Lynx are not like playing that well, and I've seen this like throughout the week with some of their other games, when they're not playing well and then by halftime, I think their coach kind of, or really, I don't even know if it's really that their coach. I think that they, like, a lot of the commentators this week have been talking about how the Lynx really just believe in each other and they have like really great chemistry together. And I think that you really do see that with them playing on the floor this year. They play like they're such a gritty team and they go after it. And it's like whenever one person isn't able to like do like, like really give that full boost, they there's like somebody else who goes and steps up, and that seems like something that should be a given when it comes to watching basketball or a basketball team or playing basketball or playing a team sport, that when the leader or when somebody who's usually a top performer isn't able to get the job done, that somebody else comes and just helps them. That seems like such an obvious thing, but like with some of these other teams and even in other sports, sometimes you don't see anybody stepping up to do that. And with this Lynx team, it's kind of like they play on each other's, strengths and weaknesses and everything. And it's like where one person's weak, they know where to come and help. And that goes into the chemistry thing. But I think it really goes into this team being as great as it is and then being able to just really dig deep for their wins sometimes. So for this game, the Lynx had Nafisa Collier again giving you another MVP level game. It was 30 points, 8 steals. I think that was a franchise record, I think they said. So 30 points, 8 steals, 6 rebounds. Bridget Carlton gave you 11 points and 3 steals. Courtney Williams gave you 15 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals. She was cooking. She was really working hard that night and she looked really great. And again, I'm going to talk about this later, but this is like a testament to this team. Like, Kayla McBride, she had a quiet night, but it was like, it's okay because you have Bridget Carlton giving you 11 points. You have Courtney Williams giving you 15 and 10. Like, you have these other players who are able to, show up when maybe somebody else isn't having like that great of a shooting night. And I just love their ability to show up together as a team. And not only that, but a lot of times, like when the Sparks were winning, it was kind of just like the defense wasn't really looking like, as cohesive as it usually does. Like when I watch the Lynx, it feels like a very free-flowing game. Like everybody is exactly where they need to be when they need to be there, and everybody's giving 1,000% of their effort. And I could tell they were trying. It just, their defense didn't look as cohesive, and because of that, their offense wasn't looking that great either, but they were able to really pull it together. And, Nafisa Collier is always going to do what she does. So they just had a really great comeback win, and their defense is just, like I said, really great. Everybody's where they need to be at all times. Like they know exactly what to throw at people and when they need to throw it at them. And this game just makes me even more excited to watch them play in the Commissioner's Cup. And I'm so excited to see that because the New York Liberty's defense is really great. And I think it's probably on the same level as them. And even when they're able to get out and transition, I'm going to be interested to see how they stop that. And if them being able to take care of the ball kind of cuts down on the Liberty's transition points, because a lot of time I think that's how New York Liberty get a lot of their points going and stuff. But I'm so excited for this year's Commissioner's Cup, and I think it's up with the two best. So I'm really excited to see that. And the Lynx have been playing so hard and so well early on, and this has just been really great. But on to the Sparks. Dearica Hamby, unfortunately, she got slowed down in the second half of the game, but before then, she had given you 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 steals. Dearica Hamby has been playing really hard. I think she's in the All-Star voting, like in the numbers that came out recently. She's in the top 10, so really happy for her. She's been playing really great this season. She got that contract extension like last week, so she's out there and she's just giving 1,000% everywhere she can. Rakia Jackson had played 30 minutes that game. She gave you 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Rakia Jackson has really been coming into form, and I'm really happy for her. I think she's really finding her footing with this team. Ari McDonald, she gave you 14 points, 7 assists, 3 steals. She's been playing really well as well. She's been doing really great facilitating, and I've noticed the difference between McDonald and with Clarendon, which I hope that there's going to be at some point where maybe they can have like a 2-unit squad going that goes for maybe like each one plays a little bit of each quarter, or each, just in between like rest time and everything, just because I feel like there are a lot of players who are just, I know that like the roster isn't huge or anything, but I think a lot of these players like kind of being spread thin, playing so many minutes is a lot of wear and tear on the body, especially with the already condensed schedule. So I'm hoping that, as the season goes on a little bit more, it's more of like, a first unit, like a starting team, and then like maybe some pieces for a second unit and stuff like that. But Lexi Brown, she did really well that game. She had 12 points, 4 assists, and I'm liking her facilitating more instead of just her being just a go-to shooter. I'm liking her passing and, playmaking and setting up her other teammates and stuff. So that was really great, fun game. Saturday, I think that Saturday has started rivalry weekend or something. And the first one we had was Suns versus Wings. For the commentators, we had Ice Young. I believe her name is Isis, but Ice Young is the okay, anyways, nickname. And Jordan Kent. I think that they did a good job. I didn't feel like they were like super biased or anything. But I did enjoy their commentating. I thought it was better than some of the others that I've heard this week. So congrats to them. I'm gonna give them an 8. They did a good job. So in the first half, the Wings just needed more offensive rebounds, I think. But eventually they were able to cut the lead and they got it to 4. Okay. And I was like, okay, we're cooking. We're about to go into halftime. And if we can keep it at 4, we're going to be cooking. But then at the end of the quarter, the Sun were up 10. And I knew we had kind of lost it from there, but they were out there and they were trying, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think you can ask for anything more than that. I did think, I'm going to put it up on the screen. There was this, after they came back at the half, they were talking about the injuries that the Wings have been suffering from, and they had this graphic of the 2 broke girls. And actually the commentators didn't get an 8. They got a 7. They actually got a 6 because they were low key kind of wrong for that little, but it was catchy. So 2 broke girl, they kind of ate that one thing. It was messy. And so I'm gonna take 1 point from them, and the commentators get a 7 out of 10 rating. Dallas unfortunately lost this game. They never had the lead. I think I have a picture of the lead tracker. They never had it, and unfortunately, I fear they simply just never stood a chance. I really hate that for them because I like the Wings. I really like them. It's just they are hurt. And we're going to get to that later on in the week because some other things transpired. But this just really, it's just really hard to watch the Wings struggle like this because I know that they have the potential to be a great team. They just haven't really they haven't even been able to play fully healthy yet. So that just really sucks. But for the Wings, I started the game slow and they were just never really able to get back in it. JC Sheldon facilitating and seeing her within receiving more minutes has been really fun to watch, and I'm really happy for her, honestly. I know that her getting more minutes has been because, maybe somebody's not playing to the ability that the coach needs them to, or maybe it's because, there are injuries and people are injured and hurt, but I really like that she's getting those minutes and she's able to, do things for the team. She's been getting a lot of great minutes and she gives you great energy and she's just really learning. And I'm really happy for her. She's getting her reps in. So congrats to JC. Shout out to Lou Lopez. I'm not going to say the last name because I'm going to say it wrong. And I refuse to do that. I'm going to take my L this week and I'm going to try to come back better next week. Anyways, Lou Lopez definitely has been thrown 2 or 3 minutes here and there in previous games. But I think this game, she got 5 minutes. And I think she did some great things with those minutes. I watched her at UConn with her, Dorka, and Nika. And I think AZ was playing in that time when they were trying to get to, I want to say they were trying to get to the Sweet 16, but I don't want to lie and I don't know that for sure. But that team has just been, and still is, just so plagued with injury, and they were out there and they were trying to fight for it, and they were really in there. They were trying and they just weren't able to pull it out. But she got hurt last season and didn't get to play, so these are kind of her first minutes actually playing and being able to contribute to the team. So, and the minutes that I had been seeing before, it had just been she's kind of lost a little bit out there. But I don't think that is like, that's not saying that's not expected because she didn't get to play last season. So I was happy that she was able to be impactful with the minutes that she got this game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more Lou Lopez minutes. Maddie Siegrist and Tierra McCowan, they both had 16 points each. Tierra McCowan finished with a double-double, so congrats to her. She played really well. Arike struggled from 3 that game, but anything this team can give you is enough for me at this point. I never finished watching a game, and this is another team that I never watch a game and don't think that they didn't give it their all. And at the end of the day, I think that that's all you can really ask for from your team, is for them to go out there and put everything on the court, be competitive. And that's definitely what they did here. The Sun, I never really have anything to say about the Sun. Like, there's not really too many flaws in their game. I was watching somebody's live like a couple hours ago, and they were talking about the Sun, and the Sun looked great. Like, they play very cohesively. They did lose to the Aces on Friday, like this Friday, like yesterday's Friday. I didn't watch that game because I was asleep, but the lady on the live definitely did say she thinks that the Sun have not really competed against like some of the better teams this season, which I definitely agree with. And what she brought up in was the Lynx, but the game against the Lynx, that went into overtime and they won by 1. So we haven't even really, and the Aces are now like fully healthy, sort of kind of. I think they're still missing one player, but for the most part, their more heavy minutes players are playing. And we haven't really seen the Sun compete against those really high level teams. She brought up, yes, the Aces here, but I think they're playing the Storm on Sunday. And so the Storm haven't been looking that great, but I think that the perfect time for them to kind of show up and really get their momentum back up would be for their game against the Sun. But, you know, I think everybody beats the Wings right now. Like, they're not healthy. Like, they're going to give you a run for your money. They're going to compete and they're going to play hard. But yeah, of course a team would look great with the games that they've been given so far. So I'm taking some of the Sun wins with a grain of salt right now, just because it is like, yeah, they look like they play really great and their defense is good and stuff. But it's kind of like, I think today with the Aces, Dewana Bonner, they were able to kind of shut her down a little bit. I don't know if it was Dewana Bonner or if it was Alyssa Thomas. It was one of them, but they were able to kind of shut one of them down. And when they were able to do that, that kind of cut the life from the team a little bit. So I feel like if you have other teams who go and watch that film back and they're like, they go and do that same thing, it's like, what's going to be your answer? Like, what's your counter to that? So something to think about. The Sun, they beat the Wings on the boards. They had more points in the paint. Their second chance points and fast break points, they just had more of those. Like, they kind of just beat them in every way that you can. 4 starters in double figures. Somebody off the bench, Rachel Banham had. Is that even how you say her name? We'll fix it last week. We'll fix it next week. Rachel, she had 16 points, girl. 16 points. So you had 5 people in double figures. And I mean, like I said, like, it's kind of hard to sit here and like pick apart their game because of course it looks super cohesive. I need to see it. I'm going to go back and rewatch that Aces game and give you guys an actual report of that next week. Next we have the Liberty versus the Aces. The commentators were Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Rucco. I really like Ryan Rucco. For commentators, I'm going to give them an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give them an 8 because I didn't feel like they were biased in their callings or anything. And Ryan Rucco, to me, always he always just does a really great job of like keep staying neutral. And, you know, I think he's just a fan of the game, and that's what I really like. Rebecca Lobo, I know a lot of people don't like her. I've never really watched a broadcast and felt like she's been like overtly terrible or has said anything too crazy. So again, I think this was a pretty decent matchup. You know, she's a former player, so she was out there. I give them a 9. I'm gonna give them a 9. Anywho, for this game, because I love the Aces, I will say they are not they were without a pivotal piece. Yes, they were without a pivotal piece in Chelsea Gray. And so again, I'm taking a lot of those games without Chelsea Gray with a grain of salt. If they were able to pull the win out, that's really great. But if they lost, it's like it's still they're just missing that pivotal piece. Chelsea Gray is such a big deal to this team. Like, and I think that you really don't understand that, especially for newer watchers, because like I said, like 2 weeks ago, people had really been going crazy. Like, oh, like everybody's always talking about the Aces and how great they are, but I'm not even like they don't even look that great. And it's like, you haven't seen them at full force. Like, yeah, you've seen Asia have a good night. You've seen Asia and Jackie have a really great night. You've seen Kelsey Plum and Asia have a really great night. You haven't seen what it looks like for Chelsea Gray to be out on that floor and just facilitating. Like, it's like watching somebody paint. It's like watching Picasso paint or something, okay? It's just excellent, and it's the greatest version of basketball. And when Chelsea Gray is on the floor, you always know that she's going to make the right call. She's going to make the right pass. She's like exactly what you would in your mind think of as a floor general in terms of basketball. That's what she is, and also can give you points if necessary, but it's more so about her being able to move the pieces into the right place, and she always does that. So when Chelsea Gray did come back later on in the week, it was really great, and I'll talk about that. But I did not, for this game, I didn't love the no call on Benigni Hamilton's first foul on Kelsey Plum in the first quarter. I like Benigni Hamilton. However, I will say that I think sometimes she gets away with nastier fouls sometimes, and it wasn't just in this instance of that first quarter, but also it was the hook foul called it was the hook foul that wasn't called on KP in the fourth quarter as well, that I'm sure everybody saw. And even Ryan and Rebecca had talked about that, how that was clearly a foul and it didn't get called. And I just think like even like some of the fouls and that I've seen her like commit like later on in the week with Kalia Copper, and even some of the ones when they were playing the Fever, like sometimes I do think that like yes, it does get physical, but it's like sometimes like some of the no calls that she does get, it's just like, why are you not calling that? But you'll call like a tic tac kind of foul. And I don't love that. And that's the problem that I think there is with the officiating. So Cathy, go ahead and get on your Zoom again. Cathy, get on your Zoom. The officiating this week, it was not that great. Like the Liberty versus Aces matchup, like Benigni Hamilton got away with 2 fouls that were no calls, should have been called. I don't know what you need to do, Cathy, but again, I don't know why we have to go through this every single week, Cathy. It's time for you to get on your Zoom, and it's time for you to collect this check. It's time for you to earn that check, okay? And another thing while you're here, actually, that damn WNBA app, we need to work on that. We need to work on that, because I be in there, I be watching my little games, and I be having a good time, and I be on my iPad, I be on my phone, and I want to know why the app is forced closing. I want to know why my game, I tapped the screen more than 3 times, and now I have that little symbol with the play button with a little X through it. What's going on? Now I got to go and exit out the game, and I got to go click the game again. I got to go fast forward, and when the game force closed, then I got to go back in the app. I got to scroll through all of the games since May to find where I'm at, and then I have to go click on watch the game. I have to go try to find where I was in the game. Cathy, fix it. The website, that's great. It keeps track of all that stuff, but I'm not on the website, Cathy. I'm on the app, and you got me out here looking goofy because I be telling people, oh, go get the WNBA app, get the league pass. It's $34.99, which it is $34.99 for the full season. Anyways, and I be telling everybody and their mama, oh, go get the WNBA league pass, WNBA app. It's so great. And you got me out here looking like this. Cathy, it's time to fix it. It's time to fix it. Come to the front and fix it, okay? Anyways, more on it. Moreover, the Liberty are built to be good. That's what I want to say. That yes. The Liberty are built to be a good team. And to me, that's very unfun. People ask me all the time why I don't like the Liberty. And it's not that I don't like them. It's just that the Liberty have been built to beat this team and to be good. And that's very unfun to me as a watcher. I like to see teams, I'm into the slow burn to victory, right? people ask all the time, like I said, why I don't like them, and it's because of that reason. I want to see underdog type of vibes, and that's the type of time that the Aces are on. Like, the Aces, they, for many seasons before this, even when they were in the San Antonio like Stars, like, they were not good, okay? Like, they weren't great. Like, this was not like must see TV. It was actually oftentimes not that. And what I like is that they have been slowly able to build up their team, stick with them, get a head coach that, is able to do the things they need to do and demand the best from them. And, they got Chelsea Gray, and to me, this team has just drafted very well. Like, yes, they get the occasional piece or two that is pivotal for them. Alicia Clark, Chelsea Gray. But for the most part, this team has just drafted well, or just gotten a couple pickups from like international players, or even just gotten the occasional pickup every season to just, kind of just, somebody to put on the bench in case we need them. And the Liberty just aren't that. Like, yeah, Sabrina was there, but Angelina Hamilton was there. But for the most part, a lot of this team isn't just like people that they drafted. This team has been built to be good because the players individually are already great. And it's hard for me as a watcher to just sit there and be like, oh, I love seeing that. Because, yeah, sure, it's good basketball. I can't hate on that. But it's not as fun as like watching a team like slowly come up from the ashes like a phoenix. They don't really make teams like that anymore, which I think kind of sucks. But what I like about the Indiana Fever, what I like about the Wings, what I like about the Aces, what I like about a lot of these teams, that they stick with their people and then they just try their best to build around that and to get other people to buy into the idea and slowly create winning teams. And I like that. Even with the Mercury, like those, I like that. Anywho, but to the Aces fans out there, I think it's still early in the season. How we look at these games or any time before Chelsea Gray returns is only temporary to me. Like, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that they are going to be three-peating. They have gone through struggles at the beginning of this season. And I think what's important to remember here is that you can't be a winner all season. And a lot of times it's just about hitting your stride when you need to. And I think that if they like start a winning streak from like, which team did they beat earlier? Oh, wow. When they beat the Storm on Wednesday, I think if they're able to carry that out until like the Olympic break and then further on after that, I think that we're looking at a very dangerous team. Again, I think that sometimes you do have to struggle, and if it was like super easy for them and all they did was just go out there and win everything, I don't think that this championship would be meaningful to them. Like, sometimes you have to figure things out in the rough moments in order for you to get to the point of victory. So I think that this is nothing to worry about. I believe they're going to be playing their best versions of basketball in the months to come, and I'm excited to see that. I think Becky was rightfully upset about the foul call disparity and some of the fouls that weren't being called at all. Especially, she was very upset about the KP ones and even the Asia Wilson ones. And Asia was very upset about those as well. But there are just times when I don't know what the officials are playing at. And again, Cathy, I need you to get on your Zoom. Like, it's time to clock in for work. I've been like kidding about sending an email for weeks now. But please don't test me, Cathy. Like, I'm coming to you right now humbly. I'm coming to you right now in a professional manner via the Girls Who Like Hoops podcast. And I need you to work on that, Cathy. You need to get with the officials and talk with them. For the Liberty, I think I'm just sick and tired of teams leaving Jonquel Jones open for threes. I find it sloppy, honestly. I think you need to make her beat you anywhere else. Like, if you're going to just give her the three, I know that you're not serious, and we're actually going to talk about that again for the Phoenix game. Because they were letting her hit a lot of threes, and like I said, I find it sloppy. You need to make her beat you anywhere else, make her drive into the paint, make her post you up. If she beats you on a post up, it is what it is. But do not let somebody who plays the five hit threes on you, open threes at that. We need to work on it. We need to do better. This team is just really great in transition. And I think the Liberty's ball movement so far has been elite. And like I've said before, like, this team is here to compete. I may not love them as a team, but like, you can't deny any of those things. They play well in transition. They have great ball movement, and they always show up to play and play hard. So there's that. For the Aces, there were some bad passes and turnovers in the first quarter. Sydney Colson, who is the face of the league, has been giving some great energy off the bench so far this season. And whenever she comes in there and she gets on the court, she means business. And that's really what I like about her. Like, she's really like, haha, funny, jokes, all that stuff. But whenever you see clips of her in practice, or you even like see her on the court, like, she's very serious about what she does and what she brings to this team. And she very great, plays her role. Like, she buys into it. Like, she's bought into the idea. I think all of these Aces members, like, they want to be champions, and they want to play at their best level, and they want to win for each other. And I think that that's where the winning starts, obviously. And you guys know I love Kelsey Plum. Her play style reminds me of Steph Curry sometimes. Like, her finishing around the rim and the development of her finishing throughout her career has been really fun to see. And I think when she's on and she's able to shoot threes, like, she's playing like very entertaining level and version of basketball. And I just really enjoy watching her play. Alicia Clark, there was a turnover, or not even a turnover. I think somebody had come and like they were inbounding the ball to Kelsey Plum, and the other team was able to like kind of smack it out of the way. And AC had got up from the bench and she screamed, "We're too lax right now, come on," and was really trying to get the team hype. And I love that. I love that this team is constantly pushing the best for each other. And this was just a really great game to me. Even though the Aces lost, I felt like we saw like some good flashes of things, and I don't think you can ever be too mad about that. I don't have stats for that game because I mostly just had like things I needed to say. But yeah, then that was the end of Saturday rivalry games. Then we went to Sunday. There were 3 games. They had the Sky versus the Fever. The Fever won. Storm versus Mercury. Mercury won. Sparks versus Dream. Dream won. I didn't know Sparks and Dream were rivals. Weird. Anyways, Sky versus Fever. I had to rewatch this one. Yeah, because I was coming home from the beach that day, and the game was on early, and I was definitely not making it home in time for that. But the commentators were Juliana. I don't even know what that... Oh, wow. I don't know what that name is. We're just going to say Juliana and Lisa. Okay, that's who the commentators were. And I'm going to be honest, their rating, they were doing fine to me. But their rating kind of went down when there was it was Father's Day Sunday as well. And they had made a comment about one of the players whose dad had passed. And it's not that, like, I guess you wouldn't mention that. I just think it's weird when that happens. It was more so like the phrasing of what they said. It was like, oh, there's this player at the line playing with a heavy heart today because their father passed away. And I was kind of like, why? Juliana and Lisa lost points for me that day. They did. And so I'm going to give them a 5 out of 10, okay? They didn't impress me with that, and I didn't appreciate the comment. I just didn't think it was the time and place to mention that. I don't know. It didn't feel like the time and place to do that, and I didn't love that. Anyways, for the Sky, they had a lineup change. They put in Lindsay Allen and Kennedy Carter starting at the 1 and the 2. And for the Fever, it was the same lineup. Do with that information what you will. I have a couple of questions, I guess, it seems, for the Sky. How are y'all going to let Caitlin Clark open the game up 3 for 3? Explain that to me. And I was clearly very upset because explain that to me was in all caps. And then I have another question. Early in the first quarter, where is the off-ball movement? And I actually felt that way throughout the entirety of the game. There's just not enough movement happening for this Chicago Sky team, and I get it. You have two people in the paint who kind of like demand attention and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that guards don't need to be moving. And that was like my biggest hang up, is kind of like, why are we like relying on ISO? Like, is that what we're doing? Or I'm confused by what we're doing offensively on this team. Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. There were just a lot of defensive lapses throughout this game. Kennedy Carter played really well. Like, I don't think anybody in the league has an answer for her. She's just too fast. The steal on Caitlin for back-to-back buckets after the drive in the paint and falling, like, yeah, because there was a shot where she was falling and then she just shot with one hand while she was falling to the ground. That was really great. And the steal on Caitlin after that was really cool. Angel Reese, flagrant on Caitlin Clark. I remember that was a conversation in the week. To me, I didn't think that it was malicious. I thought it was a basketball play. It happens all the time. It wasn't that serious to me personally. Officiating on Izzy Harrison's walk with the pivot foot, questionable call. Very questionable, especially the second one. I thought that was a very questionable call. And again, Cathy, you need to get on these officials, because some of this stuff is not even what is being called. The first time, she did move her pivot foot. The second time, though, she did not walk. And I don't know what we need to do. I don't know if we need to like invest in glasses for the officials, but some of them are going to have to be doing a little bit better. Angel Reese, I think for this game, I think she has to figure out how to play with fouls and how to foul less. I know that's a tough thing to do when you're playing in the paint, but I think it really is about just being vertical. And even like Camila Cardozo, like just doing like stay like this, but like don't bring your hands down, because at that point you're not vertical anymore and they're going to call the foul on you. Like, you just have to stay vertical, and I think you just kind of have to just figure it out, like when to swipe at the ball, when not to. Like, again, these are rookies, so I'm not expecting them to come out there and play 1000% at their best at like the same level that a veteran would. I don't expect that at all. Just some things that I think at some point are going to have to be addressed. But I say that because this team really needs her on the floor. And I think if she had been on the floor for all of the fourth quarter instead of only being able to play at the end, I think that would have been a difference maker. I think this team just needs her on the floor at all times. And if she's on the bench with 4 fouls in the third quarter, it's a real bummer, and it's going to affect the outcome of that game, because I think that they rely on everybody being available to play on this team. And when everybody isn't available, that becomes a problem. Marina Mabrey, she looked a lot better in the second half. She wasn't shooting very well the first half. I don't even know. I want to say she had like 5 or 8 points in the first quarter. I can see like they had put the stat on the screen in the second half, because they were talking about how she had been playing better in the second half. And I want to say she had like 8 points or something. And then she had 16 points in the second half. But I don't really remember exactly, but it was something like that. Anyway, she looked better. So I'm glad that she's kind of, being a little more aggressive offensively and shooting more. Camila Cardozo, she had a double-double. I don't know what you can say. Like, for her to just be coming back from injury and playing well it's amazing, and that's what they drafted her for. So, congrats to her. For the Fever, I do have a question for the people. Do we still want Christie gone? Because for the Fever versus Sky game, did she not cook? Like, I seriously question, like, sometimes what changing a coach would do for this franchise. Because now, and here's the thing, yes, they didn't win some of their games early on, but it's also like, yeah, they did have a rough schedule, didn't really have a lot of time to practice, and they were playing against some really great teams. Like, they played the Storm, they played the Sun. They played the Sun like 2 times. And even for that to be their first game, like, they've played some really great teams. And now in like the second quarter of the season, you're seeing them play teams that aren't as like super competitive. And so now my question is more so like you've seen like the Mystics and them play the Sky, and like to me the Mystic, Sky, and the Dream, who are teams that they've beaten, are teams that they're not bad teams, but they're trying to still figure things out the same way that the Fever are trying to figure things out, you know? And to me, I don't really know. I feel like maybe people were asking a lot of Christie at the beginning, and now I feel like they're kind of finding their stride and stuff. And so now my question really is still like, do people still want Christie Sides to lose her job? Like, or has how she's been coaching lately, does that change your mind? Like, what's the determining factor there? Just food for thought. Anyways, the Fever's the defense, it's getting better. I think that they just look like a much more fluid team. And I think, to me, the problem with this Fever team for the past few weeks has really just been, yeah, Aaliyah Boston may not have been like playing at the level that she's used to herself playing at, or even she wasn't maybe even playing to the level that she played last season. But to me, I think sometimes you can just have a slow start to the season. But I think playing through Aaliyah Boston these past few games has been the key to success. And so I think my question is more so because a couple of months ago, when the NCAA championship had happened and everything, and I got on TikTok and I was telling people about how it was going to be interesting to see how the Fever chose to play, if they were going to play through Aaliyah Boston as the number one option, or if they were going to play through Caitlin. And some people were kind of acting like that was a crazy question to ask at that time. And that was even before anybody got drafted anywhere and before we even saw anybody playing together. And I'm kind of just confused as to why there was pushback on that, because in my mind, and even like what we're seeing right now, yes, the team looks better. And I think it's for a myriad of reasons. I want to say Kelsey Mitchell is always cooking whenever she plays. I can't really recall a time where she didn't cook. You know, she plays really well, but I think at the same time, her and Caitlin have similar play styles as guards, and so sometimes them playing together at times before like the more recent games has looked a little rough. But I think at the same time that Caitlin is really leaning into the role of running the point more so than she's leaning into being the number one scoring option. And I think that has always been the question that needed to be answered, at least to me. If she's leaning into being a point guard, that's really great. Like, here's the thing, actually. If Caitlin's play style is going to be to a similar play style as Steph's, a lot of Steph, yes, Steph can go out there and give you 30, 35, whatever. But it's like, if he's not able to help create for his teammates sometimes, it doesn't really matter what he does, because he hasn't been able to get everybody else involved. And I know people want to say that, and this is the tea. This is the real conversation about basketball. I know people like to say that Draymond Green is a lot of times the reason for like the success of the Warriors when it comes to creating for other people. And yes, Draymond does do a lot of things, but I think what I've noticed, especially in the last season, was that when Steph wasn't running the point and he was simply only being used to play at the 2 because Chris Paul would be in the game, right? If Steph is only made to be a shooter, I don't think that helps his style of play. I think that he is at his best when he's able to create for others. And when he's able to create for others, it allows him to kind of be more aggressive. And when he's not creating for others and able to lean into the roles and duties of a point guard, I think that teams struggle. I think that the Warriors struggle because of that. And so to me, that's almost the same thing with Caitlyn and the Fever. Yeah, Caitlyn can go out there and shoot 30, 35 points, but if the rest of the team, when they start locking her up, when they start doubling her, blitzing her, whatever, if she passes to them and they can't go out there and create their own shot, or maybe they're just cold because they haven't really shot this game or whatever, it's just like, yeah, Caitlyn gave you 30 points, but the rest of the team didn't play well. Now with her leaning into the point guard stuff, it allows her to, it allows this team to play through Aaliyah Boston, but then also, when doing that, it allows Caitlyn to be a little more passive and not have to hunt for her shots so much, because she's allowing the game to come to her. She's not just forcing it because she has to be the reason that the team wins. When you are able to, and like I said, the comparison with her and stuff, I think that it's best for players who can create for others to do that and then let their offense come to them. And also, I think that even when you play through Aaliyah Boston, maybe those first 2 or 3 quarters, when it's the fourth quarter, time to close the game, Caitlyn isn't tired from shooting and being the reliable piece for those first 2-3 quarters. Now she can help you close the game. She's not tired, and they're worried about staying on other people, because now she's passed the ball to Lexi Hull. Lexi Hull's maybe able to get into the paint. Maybe she passes the ball to Kelsey Mitchell. She's able to get into the paint, she's able to get her shots up. Maybe she passed the ball to Aaliyah Boston a couple of times. Aaliyah's able to just get in there and get you some quick points in the paint. If Caitlyn's able to do that, now the other team has to be so focused on everybody else. You have to stay with your matchup now, because other people are hot. Anybody can shoot now, right? Anybody can get a shot off at this point. And so now you have Caitlin Clark at the top, who now isn't being doubled. She's not being blitzed. Or maybe if she is, she can still pass to, let's say, somebody who's guarding Kelsey Mitchell comes over to double her. She can pass Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell's gonna get hers, right? Now it becomes everybody's a threat on the floor. And if everybody's a threat on the floor, nobody's only going to be threatening Caitlyn, right? And it allows Caitlyn to be passive, but it allows her to be aggressive if she wants to be. And I think that is really what we want to see, and what a lot of people aren't talking about is the necessity of, if Caitlin Clark is going to be on the floor, she needs to lean into the point guard responsibilities as well. It can't only be that she's shooting. And I think that this team has greatly benefited from her leaning into that. Yes, the game is slowing down from her and a lot of other things that everybody under the sun is going to say. But everything comes down to the idea that as long as Caitlyn is facilitating and helping create for others and leaning into the role of the point guard, facilitating, passing, doing all of these things, it allows her to be, in turn, more aggressive when she needs to be, to help close games out and stuff like that. If we don't see that same scoring from her right now, but the team is winning, I think that you can be happy with that. I think that you can see eventually her getting 30, 35 every single night and also being a facilitator, and that's going to be great too. But right now, I don't think that the main priority should only be her shooting. And that's really what I wanted to say about this team this week. What else? Other things that I have here. Like I said, Fever playing through Aaliyah Boston while Caitlin Clark is still getting her footing. I think they should be fine. Yeah, everything I cooked basically. I cooked with my notes. Caitlin. Oh yeah. Also, Caitlin is doing well in getting into the paint more, finishing around the rim. She shoots free throws very well. I think she's in the 90% area. She's shooting free throws very well. So obviously people don't want to foul her. Also, you don't want her to shoot. So it's kind of just, I think at some point when she does become that 3-level scorer and she is able to facilitate and all of those things at the highest level and everything, the league, it's going to be a problem. It is. Her passes are looking cleaner. Like I said before, the game is slowing down for her a bit. And it's enough to And the game is slowing down enough for her to the point where she can make in the moment decisions instead of, getting overwhelmed by the pace of the game. And I think at some point she's going to be able to set the pace of the game. And when she's able to set the pace of the game, if she gets into like a bag, kind of like Luka Doncic, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, the WNBA is going to have a problem on their hands. They are. But until then, this was a really great game. Erica Wheeler, I'm still perplexed. I'm still perplexed by her at times. Nalissa Smith, she had some great shots this game, very aggressive in the paint. She took a lot of contact and was finishing even through that contact, so she did a great job. Aaliyah Boston was cooking Camila Cardoso, I fear. Aaliyah just, sometimes it looks like she's just tossing it up there. You know what I'm saying? And every time it goes in there, and it's just like, damn, what a shame that is. What a shame that is. She's just looking a lot better, and I'm happy for her, and I knew that she would get to this point. I said this a couple episodes ago and continuously have been saying it. I think sometimes you just start a little bit slower off into the season. Like, this was a big change for the team. They were trying to see what it would look like, running everything through Caitlin, and then, kind of getting back to running the offense through Aaliyah. And it's just a lot of things, but they're figuring it out. So congrats to them. I think a lot of their points this game were also in transition, which used to be a point of concern earlier on in the season. So I'm happy to see that they're working on some of the concerning aspects of the offense. And I think their defense is coming together. Yeah. Okay. Anywho, enough of that. That was really long. Storm versus Mercury. The commentators were LaChina Robinson and Pam Ward. They were pretty decent. Ooh. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give them a 6 because I think this was the game where... Was this that game? No, this wasn't that game. I'm going to give them like an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give them like an 8 because they kept it cute. They kept it cute. I thought this was the Mercury versus Liberty game for a second. I did not like that commentating. I did not. Anyways, but Natasha Cloud. Oh, actually, you know what? I have to dock them. I have to dock them a point. Like, they get a 7 out of 10, actually, because they had said Natasha Cloud with 0 points to match her jersey number. Because why would you say that, actually? You know what? I thought we didn't have to. You didn't have to say it like that, actually. You didn't have to say it like that. So, commentators get actually, I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10 on that one. Because, again, you didn't have to say it like that. You could have just been like, oh, Natasha Cloud is struggling a bit from the field. Bring the ball up now. That's all you had to say. You know what I'm saying? You have to say Natasha Cloud with 0 points to match her jersey number. That was a little nasty to me. It was a little nasty to me. Anyways, first half analysis of this game. Storm were shooting 29% from the field versus Mercury's 53%. Damn. Sorry, I was looking at the stats. 2 of 13 from 3 for the Storm. 6 of 11 from 3 for the Mercury. I will say this, though. Noelle Quinn's hair... She looked great. Just simply, she never misses. Good job, Noelle Quinn. Honestly, she's so calm all of the time to me. They had one of those interviews with the coaches during the games, and she's so calm when it comes down to analyzing the game or what she needs to ask from her players. And I really like that. I think that you always need somebody to be calm in those instances. So to me, I think she's a great leader. So, Seattle Storm, if you're looking for someone to hire, I am available. I just wanted to let you know. If you know somebody who works for the Storm, if you know a friend of a friend, you know what I'm saying? Put in a good word for me. Anyways, the Storm, I really like the Storm, and so I'll say this. I think games like this are where you do wish there was more depth on the bench, or even that the bench was utilized more. Sometimes I think you just need to throw different looks at the opponent, but the rotation always stays within 7 to 8 players. And I think some of the shot selection, especially in the first half, was shaky. And I think I don't know what's going on with the Storm right now. It is the defense, but it's also the offense. And because their offense depends on their defense, if the defense is bad, then their offense isn't going to look that great either. And I think sometimes they were forcing shots or they were just playing a little too fast. And again, when it's kind of like nobody's hitting the shots, but you can't go to your bench and get anybody who isn't necessarily going to do that outside of Jordan Horston and maybe Vivian's. It's kind of just like, this is what we have to work with and this is what the team is going to look like. And so I am starting to get a little concerned about what this team is going to do because, again, with the 7 to 8 player rotation, and sometimes those other 2 or 3 players that you bring in off the bench aren't necessarily getting the job done, or they're not able to give you what you need. I worry about that. I worry about that a lot. For the Mercury, beginning of the game, they said Coach Tibbetts wants to bring good vibes to the Mercury team. I thought that was interesting. I did. These commentators wanted me to really like this man. And you know what? I took the bait this week. I did. I took the bait this week. They said that he's a coach's player, or he's a player's coach. And apparently the players really like him. And he apparently something about sweat. They were talking about something about sweat equivalents. No, it was something about sweat and how if they sweat, he's going to sweat. And I didn't really know why I needed to know that, but sure, they're pushing an agenda and you know what? I can't even be mad at them. Rebecca Allen and BG offer so much size and spacing to this team. It's like night and day watching them. With these 2 players available to play, like this team actually looks like real contenders, honestly. So congrats to them. The Mercury did well. They played well. I don't think you can ask for too much more from the Mercury. They're just playing some elite versions of basketball. Next, we have the Sparks versus Dream. Full transparency, I watched this game on 2 times speed. Yeah, I did. I watched this game on 2 times speed because I just get bored. Like, I'm so sorry. I just get bored watching these 2 teams play. And I don't even mean that in a nasty way. I just get bored. I watched the 4th quarter, though. So, anyways, commentators were Autumn Johnson and Angel Gray. They kept it neutral and cute. So, I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10. For the Dream, Aerial Powers, I have to give her 10s this game, damn it, because she did really well facilitating, especially in the 4th quarter. She really did. Like, she was out there and she was passing that damn ball. Can't even be mad at her. She also shot 5 of 8, so I guess in a way you could say that Aerial Powers is built like that, I guess. Ryan Howard was getting locked up a little bit, but had 16 points, but that's okay because... Did they win? They got the win. Yes. It's okay that she got locked up because they got the win. Alicia Gray had 25 points and 3 steals. She's been playing great. I don't even know what to say. I actually saw an interview that her, Ryan Howard, and was it Nia Coffey did on the little Peachtree TV thing? Because I can't watch those games on League Pass unless I'm like rewatching them. I have to watch those live on the TV because I live in the Atlanta area. Anyways, but they played well. And I think I like their personalities. They're pretty cool. Everybody on the Dream Team seems cool. I don't know what it is about that team. It's just something's not right. Something's not quite right in the water there. I don't know. I'm acting like I don't live here. There's something not quite right in the water here. I don't know. Tina Charles had 20 points and 11 rebounds. Tina Charles. Reliable. Anyways, for the Sparks, Ari McDonald had a really great game for them and has been playing really great for them the past few games. Had 14 points, 5 assists. Rickea Jackson played well, 16 points, 3 rebounds. Cameron Brink, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. Okay, per. Dearica Hamby, 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Great job for them, honestly. Congrats. They tried really hard, but the Dream were just able to pull it out. But you know what? Again, you can never say that the Sparks didn't go out there and compete. Monday, we had one game. God bless. We had the Wings versus Lynx, and the commentators were Leah B. Olson and Marnie Gellner. Honestly, they kept it really cute this game, and so I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. The commentators were actually quite lovely this game. You could tell they were just there. They were there for a good time. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I was about to skip this game, actually. I was going to watch the 10-minute recap game, but then in the 10-minute recap opening minutes, tell me why I saw Dorka Juhasz starting with Bridget Carlton out. So I decided I needed to watch this game. If Dorka Juhasz was starting, and y'all know I'm a ride for Dorka, you know what I'm saying? I'm a ride for my girl Dorka. I was like, you know what? If she's starting, let me go ahead and just tune into the game. Let me go ahead and watch my little hour, 27-minute game, okay? And I did see the end of the game when it was actually on live. And when I saw it live, I thought the Wings were hanging in there. And that was without Arike out there playing. So I thought, like, I'm really going to have to go back and watch this game. So I guess I was always going to be watching this game. I just thought that I wasn't. Anyways, for the Lynx, Dorka Juhasz is cold. Like, I don't know what y'all need to hear. Dorka Juhasz is built like that. Like, Dorka Juhasz, she's just like that. She had 2 threes, okay? And then she had a deep 2 in the first 3 minutes of the game. She came out there aggressive with this start. She said, well, I'm starting, so I'm going to give them another reason to start me again if they want to. So, again, I'm going to say, go ahead and say, don't play with her. Don't play with her and put some respect on Dorka Juhasz's name. She finished the game 5 of 5, okay? With 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. She was doing great out there this game. Napheesa Collier had a different type of game this one. I think we're used to seeing her like super aggressive with these 20 something and 30 point games, but she struggled a little bit at the beginning, but eventually she was kind of able to muster it up and get 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. You know, sometimes you just have an off game. She's done nothing this season that makes me think that that's going to be a problem for her as the season goes on. I think that this is, again, she's going to be in the MVP race. And again, the poll for this week is going to be, who do you have front running for the MVP race? Or actually it might be something else. We'll see how I feel when I post this. But she played really well. And I think, again, this is an MVP caliber season for her. Next we have Natisha Heidemann, who had a big night. I actually had just said something about her last week. I did. But it's just been taking her a minute to kind of get into the rhythm of playing with this team and where she needs to play and what they are asking of her to do. And it's good that she had a good game because Courtney Williams didn't have that great of a game. But, you know, she had 17 points, 5 assists, and she was out there cooking. So I think that was a really great pickup for the Lynx. Kayla McBride had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. There were a lot of people who contributed this week, and they played really well. Again, their defense, they were at some part, they were a little shaky, but again, they were just kind of able to muster up enough grit to get their wins, and I'm really loving this Lynx team this season. Next, we have, like I said, the Wing. This team is just down bad. It's down atrocious. Maddie Siegrist broke her finger this game. She stayed in and finished the whole game. Apparently, I saw she posted on TikTok and she said that she thought she had just jammed it, but it was broken and she got surgery, I think, yesterday. But she'll be out indefinitely for now. And as a Maddie fan, I'm wishing her a speedy recovery. I personally really hate to see that because she's one of my favorite players to watch on this team. But, you know, again, wishing her a speedy recovery, hoping the best for her. Lou Lopez had a good game this night. She had 7 points, and I'm happy for her. Again, I'm glad that she's kind of finding her footing. She didn't have that great of a game against the Sky on Thursday, but hey, you know, not every game is going to be a big one. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, but I'm happy that she's, you know, contributing and she's, you know, kind of getting more aggressive with getting her shot and stuff. Monique Billings did what Monique Billings does. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. She was 1 assist away from a triple-double. But you know what? She was out there and she was cooking and she was playing really hard. And I think that this has just been a really great pickup for the Wings team while, you know, they've had some players hurt. Maddie Siegrist, 17 points, 7 rebounds, played all 40 minutes on 8 of 17 shooting, considering the whole broken finger. I'm quite happy with this performance, and again, I'm wishing her a speedy recovery. This Wings team just cannot catch a break, it seems, but I think this season's gonna make them stronger. You know, I think they're getting more people be able to play from the bench, and I'm pretty sure Natasha Howard came back in their game against the Sky. So, you know, they're kind of slowly getting back healthy. I believe Satu is coming back after the Olympic break. So, if they can just kind of slowly build everybody up into health, I think that we're going to be looking at a very different team in the second half of the season. Sev Uzun, I really like the aggression offensively from her with Arike out. She had 17 points and 6 assists. Y'all know I love me some Sev Uzun, so congrats to her. She's looking great out there. And that was a pretty great game for me. Tuesday, we had 2 games, Sparks versus Sun, the Liberty versus the Mercury. I didn't watch the Sparks versus Sun. This is the game, actually, where Cameron Brink got injured and tore her ACL. And honestly, like, wishing her, like, the best. Like, I think that this was... she posted about it on Instagram and everything. And, she got a lot of comments from a lot of the players, telling her to, get well. Like, this is a setback right now, but you're going to come back stronger and better. And I definitely agree with them. And I really hate that she got this injury right now because I felt like she was really coming together in her rookie season. It's really just unfortunate. But I hope that she's able to come back and play next season. I really hate this for the 3x3 team and even just like for her in general because like making the 3x3 team and, going to represent your country, like it's a big deal for these players. And honestly, I just really hate this for her, but I know she's going to come back stronger and better. And hopefully she'll get another opportunity it's actually not a doubt in my mind that she'll get another opportunity to represent this country on an Olympic team, whether it's 3x3 or 5x5. But, I really just hope that she gets better soon and that she's doing okay, like mentally and emotionally and stuff. And, hope she recovers and everything's going to be fine, I think. I'm praying for her, sending her good vibes and all the things. Ari McDonald gave you 14 points and 7 assists. The Suns had 5 starters in double figures. That was going to play great. Congrats to them. I don't really know what y'all want me to say for this game. Like, again, I just can't do it. Sometimes the Sparks are boring sometimes. They're so boring to me. I hate saying that after the whole injury thing, but I couldn't do it. Mercury versus Liberty. First quarter, I actually watched this game live. First quarter, I actually recorded a video on TikTok of my reaction while doing that. So if you want to check that out, links are below. Anyways, Kalia Copper started out aggressive on defense, and I think that powered her offense. She had 2 techs. Well, actually, we had 2 techs. Not she had 2 techs, because then she would have been ejected. But she had a tech, and then the coach got a tech, and then she had 2 fouls in the first quarter, so they had to go ahead and sit her down. They did. But she has started aggressive on defense, so, can't be mad at that. Second quarter, I think a lot of... Oh, yeah. The Liberty said they did a lot of 5-out. They played a lot of 5-out offensively. I think it's great in theory, but the Mercury are playing such great defense that I think that sometimes the 5-out offense can leave them vulnerable to turning the ball over sometimes, especially if the other team isn't playing man-to-man. Like if they're playing zone defense and you're playing 5-out, it's going to be a lot harder for you to try to get in the paint because they're kind of packing it. And at the same time... I don't know. There was a lot to unpack there. To me, the Mercury bouncing back in that second quarter, they had some nice dribble handoffs. Or no, what happened was they didn't have a nice dribble handoff. The Mercury kept bounce passing the ball. And I was kind of just like, and then the ball kept getting stolen, obviously, because they knew they were going to bounce pass it. And it was getting a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, it was getting a little bit embarrassing. But, and I said they need to do a dribble handoff. I don't know, or literally anything else, maybe lob pass it. I don't know what needed to happen, but that bounce pass, it was not the answer. Anywho, the Mercury had the lead at the half, and I don't think you can do too much about that. I'm pretty sure Sophie Cunningham came in there and like kept them in the game because there was at one point when I thought they were dead in the water. But Sophie Cunningham got them back in there with like 2 or 3 threes, and I was like, cook, Sophie, cook. In the third quarter, the Mercury just allowed too many rebounds. And honestly, they just kept allowing Jonquel Jones to hit threes, and I was really confused as to why they kept allowing Griner to sag off on her when they knew she was doing a good job shooting from 3. So that was really confusing to me. I didn't understand that. But there are times when I watch the Mercury team, and I won't name names this time, but it feels like sometimes I feel like we could have gotten a better shot than the one that was taken. There was one play where Rebecca Allen was wide open in the corner, and instead a contested three was taken and they missed. And I was confused about that decision. I was very confused about that, but I'm not a professional, so let me shut the hell up. The Mercury had 6 players in double figures, and this was an all-around great game for them, very competitive. Kalia Copper, this is actually when Betnijah Laney had, like, hit Kalia Copper in, like, the sternum, and old girl was down for a little bit. And I thought, and, like, nobody called anything on that, and that's why I gave the commentator the score that I gave them. Which, what did I give them? I should give them a 6 out of 10, because they were kind of like, she didn't mean to. You don't know what she meant to do. Mind your business. Anyways, but it's just like, again, like, she kind of just doesn't get called for that kind of stuff. And that one, I don't really know if it was like, I don't think it was purposeful. I don't necessarily think that any of these are purposeful, but it's still just like, to not call the foul regardless of whether or not it was on purpose or not isn't really the call you're supposed to make. You're supposed to make the call on what you saw. And it's kind of annoying and frustrating that they continuously just don't see those plays from her. Kind of confusing. I don't love it. Anywho, but like I said, very competitive. Copper and Allen had 17 points apiece. Brittany Griner and Taurasi had 19 points apiece. Loved their 2-man game. They were doing really well this game. Natasha Cloud had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Sophie Cunningham had 13 points, 4 rebounds. She was very efficient that night. And Beck Allen was also very efficient. So that was a really great game for them. The Liberty All-Starters were in double figures. Brianna Stewart had 28 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals. Sabrina I'm not going to do it. Sabrina, she had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. John Qual Jones had 17 points, 6 boards, 7 assists, and 2 steals or blocks. I don't know which one. Just know there were 2 of them, though. Betnijah Laney Hamilton had 12, 9, and 5, and Kayla Thornton had 12 points and 7 rebounds. So they did a really great job that game. For Wednesday, we had 3 games. Jesus Christ. I'm ready to stop. Wednesday, we had Fever versus Mystics. What? What did I say here? I see. That's funny. Anywho, Caitlin just plays better when she's leaning into the responsibilities of a point guard. And I already discussed that before, but I think that she just plays really well when she does that. I think the rest of the floor really opens up for her when she's playing the role as a point guard and being passive to get other players going. And then it allows her to be aggressive offensively when the defense kind of sags off on her because, they're kind of expecting her to be leaning into that point guard role. For the Fever, I am just really happy that Aaliyah Boston is playing well. All the people who were talking about her can now go on an apology tour. She had 22 points and 8 rebounds against the Mystics. Kelsey Mitchell had 22 points and 3 rebounds. Caitlin had 18 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Christy Wallace is still getting a few too many minutes from me. She had 4 points. I'm going to leave that where it is. I was going to say no shade, but the shade was implied. For the Mystics, I don't know how to pronounce this name. I want to say it's Exler, something like that. The fans were right. She does need to play more. She played very well in this matchup, and also the commentators, they I don't know who they were that I put them. I don't have the names for the commentators, but they deserve a 5 out of 10 because they were one of those they were some of those commentators that I always like to go, I didn't like that call. Mind your business. Damn, we don't care if you like the call. We didn't ask. Some of these commentators they've got to be stopped. And I mean that they've got to be stopped. Anyways, I don't really know how I feel about Erica Wheeler's style of play. I need to figure it out. Anyways, but the Fever won this game. What did I say? Oh, the Mystics had 3 scorers. That's kind of it. They had 3 scorers. Wishing them the best at this time. One thing you cannot say about this team is that they don't try. Carly Samuelson had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Ariel Atkins, again, cooked. Fairly efficient night with 27 points. Steph Dolson had 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Great job. Next, we have the Dream versus the Lynx. This game, Ryan Howard had a rough shooting night from 3. And it was like a really rough shooting night, which was unfortunate. And then she went down with an injury. I think she had rolled her ankle, but she's still okay. I think she's also a part of the 3x3 team. So hopefully she'll be back and playing with the Dream and hopefully be playing with the 3x3 team. Nia Coffey was carrying. They really needed someone to step up. Especially, she even carried last week with the fever. Yeah. She carried last week with the fever, and they needed somebody to step up. And I think she stepped up and really contributed in this game versus the Lynx when Howard and Gray were kind of struggling. I also like that Haley Jones was being more aggressive without Powers and Howard out on the floor. And even like the game that they had today, I believe she was more aggressive. And I'm just happy to see her kind of, going forward a little bit more. With the Lynx, oh my God. For the Lynx, Alana Smith takes a lot of physicality in the paint, but I think she plays very hard and she played really well this game. Bridget Carlton had 14 points, 8 rebounds on 5 of 8 shooting and went 4 of 5 from 3. She had a really great night after not playing that game before. Nafisa Collier had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Dorka Juhasz had 10 points, 11 rebounds. Put some respect on her name. I'm only going to say it a couple more times. Dorka Juhasz deserves respect because she be out there cooking. Next, we have the Aces versus Storm. Rough game for the Storm, honestly. Aces offense was just better than the Storm's defense. Chelsea Gray's return was this game. And, she came out there, and I don't know, the energy of this team just feels so different when they know that Chelsea Gray is going to be a part of the winning. She assisted on a bucket right off coming into the game. She didn't have any points, or maybe she had 1 point. I don't remember if it was 1 or 0 points, but she had 7 assists, I believe, that game. Yeah, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and she only played 15 minutes. If that's not telling of what Chelsea Gray does for this team, I don't know what is. Jackie Young, the woman that you are, she's built like that, had 32 points on 11 of 19 shooting. We need to do a slow clap for her. I'm not going to do it right now because the clap would be entirely too slow, and we've been doing it for an hour and 23 minutes. We keep it up, keep it quick. Kelsey Plum, 11 points, 8 assists. I'll take it. We're not always going to have big nights, but, she contributed very well and did what she needed to do. Aisha Wilson gave you 27 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Cook. She did nothing but cook. Tiffany Hayes and Alicia Clark combined for 10 points. And, that helped them, of course. And I don't think you can ask for too much more of this. They needed that win really badly. And the Storm, why not get that win right now while the Storm are struggling a bit? For the Storm, they got the first matchup against this team, and then I think the energy, like I said at the beginning, for the Aces was just so different this game. NECA had 21 points, but you just need more. I don't know. I think that you got to be able to go to your bench sometimes and have somebody be able to contribute there. Ezzy Magbagor does what she did. Does what she did. She did all the things. 19 points and 13 rebounds. Jewel Lloyd had 1 point. Again, Jewel Lloyd was a leading scorer last year and does so much for this team. Her having a very off night is not concerning to me. I think, again, like I said before, it just is kind of concerning that when you have a main player like that not playing that well, you're not able, you don't have anybody that you can go to kind of help outside of Jordan Horston. And I think that's a little bit concerning. And I hope that at some point more of the bench is utilized a little bit more. I don't really know what Coach Quinn needs to see from them, but I hope eventually she sees it and, kind of allow some other people to get on the floor. I trust Coach Quinn and her decision making, and I think that she's a very respectable coach and stuff. And Like I said, she's very calm, so I'm sure she's not really like that worried about anything. But yeah, that's just something I've noticed. Jordan Horston gave you 18 points, 6 rebounds. Skylar Diggins-Smith gave you 18 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. This has just been a really rough road trip for them. And I'm sure, maybe when they go back home, maybe they're able to kind of, clean some things up, work on some things. But I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about. Sometimes you just go through some ups and downs in the season, and it's still early on. They still have time to figure some things out. Thursday, we had 2 games, and this is the last one for the most part. Wings versus Sky. Oh, yeah. Full transparency, I did not watch any of these games. I laid in my bed instead. I did, and scrolled on TikTok for a long time. I did. But I'm going to still report the news. Wings versus Sky. I heard that this was a really good game, and the highlights that I saw on Twitter that people were making sure that I saw. Some of the clips, they were really great. I might go back and watch this game. Probably not. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a Thursday. If it was a Friday, I'd go back and watch, but I'm not rewatching. I'm just gonna believe the people. I'm gonna believe you guys when you said it was a good game. But the Sky, Marina Mabrey gave you 19 points. Kennedy Carter gave you 19 points. Angel Reese averaging that double-double 7 in a row this game and setting records and breaking history and all the things. Congrats to Angel Reese. I'm rooting for everybody black, mostly. Honorable mention to Camila Cardozo. 9 points, 11 rebounds. Keep doing what you do. Keep working hard. For the Wings, we have Natasha Howard back. Yay. Enrique had 31 points. Natasha Howard had 13. From the looks of this box score, it was a really rough one for the Wings. But I don't expect them to have, like, a smooth one either. You know what I'm saying? Like, Howard's first game back, Maddie Segrist out, many people out. Just at this point, Dallas Wings, if you just keep your head up, until July, I'll be proud of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be happy for you guys regardless, but the Sky took the win on that one. Then we have Sparks versus Liberty. The Liberty obviously won. For the Liberty, Sabrina had 31 points and 9 assists. Damn. It's like she's taking candy from a baby out there. Somebody has to stop her. And that wasn't even, Sabrina. 31 points and 9 assists. Keep cooking, Sabrina. Or not. Feel free to slow down. Jonquel Jones, 22 points, 7 and 8. Okay. Brianna Stewart, 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. She be out there. Brianna Stewart, keep doing what you do. Take that Puma deal and keep doing what you do. Make the big bucks. For the Sparks, Ari McDonald, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Stephanie, how do you pronounce his name? I don't remember how you pronounce his name. We're just gonna call her Stephanie right now. Talbot. Got it. Okay. Stephanie Talbot, 9 points, 11 rebounds. Ray Burrell, 11 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. I'm glad Ray Burrell's seeing some minutes. Zaya Cook had 13 points. I'm glad Zaya's having some play time, especially after her not really playing for the past few games. And then Friday we had Dream versus Fever. I had the Fever winning that one, and I had the Aces winning, so I was right. If I was a betting woman, which I'm not, I would have made big bucks. Dream versus Fever, I watched the beginning of it, but then I cut it off because I didn't want it anymore. The commentators were LaChina Robinson and Angel Gray. I'm sure they probably did great. We'll talk more about that next week. But no Ryan Howard, so I just kind of assumed personally that they would be losing this game. But even their last matchup against them, was kind of telling. And, the Fever are hitting their stride right now. The Fever have played tougher opponents, and now they're kind of building up their confidence against teams that they match up well with, like the Mystics, the Dream, and whatever that other team was. But the post-game presser, I saw that on TikTok. I saw that. I understand that the Dream head coach is upset, At the same time, though, I don't know. Something feels wrong about this team this season. I don't really know what it is, and obviously I can't put my finger on it. That's not my job or anything. I don't know. There's just something not quite right going on with the Atlanta Dream, and I don't really know. I try to think of, because the real team that I really pay attention to in the NBA is the Warriors, and I watch every single one of their games every season, and I buy the little league pass. And the way that she answered the question, it wasn't necessarily the response to the question of like, I think some of the people were asking like, what are you like, like what do you think that the team needs to do? And she was kind of just like, I don't know what the team needs to do. Like, I don't have the answers and stuff like that. And then, they had asked some questions to Tina Charles and Naz Hillman and stuff. And I don't really know what it is about this team. I don't know if it's that the players aren't buying into everything. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I do watch this team and it I don't know, there's just something not quite right. Like, they have the talent. And they have an experienced coach. Something's just not right to me. I don't know what it is. And then, you go and for me personally, I hear, people talking about the leadership, the ownership of the team, kind of talking about how they're there and they want to win championships. And it's kind of like, I see that you want to win championships. I see that I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I watch the games and it doesn't feel like everybody's on the same page. And I think that the Dream have other things that they need to discuss and focus on and worry about before we're talking about the cohesiveness of winning a basketball game. Because at the end of the day, to me, if you can't get your team to kind of come together on that idea of wanting to win, and if you can't get them to kind of focus in and zero in on that, you're going to have a hard time coming up with the plan of how to win. If not everybody is really bought into the idea of winning and believing in each other and relying on each other and believing that they can win something without everybody being present on the team. And I think that there are just other things that need to be addressed first before we start talking about them winning or losing games. But that's just me. From an outside perspective, nobody eat me up in the comments. Anywho, lastly, we have Aces versus Sun. Didn't watch that game. Probably won't watch it, I'm gonna be honest with you. But that live I told you guys about, I was watching on TikTok. They said, the Sun haven't really played too many bigger fish so far, and this Aces team looks, if the Sun had caught the Aces pre-Chelsea Gray, I don't know if maybe they would have won it. I don't know. But this Aces team, the energy around it is very different now. And, sometimes it is just a couple of pieces, or a piece comes back into the mix, like BG for Mercury. And it's just like things just change. And to me, that's what this Aces team has looked like. Things are just changing. And I think the Sun are just kind of going to have to move accordingly with that. But anyways, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. I was going to talk about some of the NBA stuff, but I don't really feel like it. My throat is dry and it's been an hour and 34 minutes, so I'm going to stop. But thank you guys for listening and watching. I'll be back next week, hopefully on time. But yeah, I really appreciated this. I like what we have going here. I do. So next week, I'm probably not going to talk about Friday's games because I'm not going back to watch them. Just take my word for it. Yeah, we'll start from next Saturday, or from Saturday. So whatever games come on tonight to next Thursday. But yeah, thanks guys so much for listening and watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.